Hey, welcome to
Chick Chat
Chat
KC.
KC. Who's with us? Say hello.
Chick Chat.
Chick Chat KC. We're just kind of chilling in tonight.
Kind of vibe. That music's kind of a vibe. It reminds me of the Green Lady.
It's kind of a good vibe, right? Right? If you're here, say hello, but we will be right back. Hey, welcome back. So, go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. What?
Chiefs.
Super Bowl, baby.
Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. I see you're wearing the Chiefs. I am not wearing the Chiefs, which I forgot to wear the Chiefs today.
Well, I've
been wearing them.
I think I'm going to wear it all week.
Yeah. I mean, come on now.
Why not?
The Super Bowl's not till next weekend, so
I might wear it for 2 weeks.
I don't know. Wear it for 2 weeks. So,
Hi,
hey,
Carla.
Hello, Carla. Welcome. Okay, we've got a competition going on. Who's going to win?
It's me this time. I'm telling you.
So far.
It's going to be me.
KC versus Virginia and other places.
Right. It's just Sandy versus Heather, because we have people all over the place. So we can't limit them to just the 2 states.
That's right. So if you are joining us, say hello. So we have an interesting topic this evening.
We're going to jump right in.
We're going to jump right in.
Woo, all right.
And it's not, we didn't really promote it this week, but that's okay. Like misconceptions of groups. And what does that mean? Misconceptions of groups. So you and I kind of talked earlier, and I was watching a movie where they brought in a Gen Z panel to watch this movie to get their feedback. And it was interesting because I guess I might have had a I must have misconceived how they would take this certain movie and their feedback of it. And I guess it's because I grouped them all in one grouping in my head. Like, oh, they're not gonna like this movie. They're not gonna, because they're not gonna relate, et cetera, et cetera. And I was very wrong.
Okay, and well, so I was glad let's start by telling everybody what the group, because I looked it up when we were talking earlier. I said I was going to look it up so we knew exactly which age group we're talking about. So baby boomers are before us. That's 1946 to 1964.
Yes.
And then 1965 to 1980, which is where most of us are going to fall, is Gen X.
Gen X.
Then we have the millennials, which is 1981 to 1996.
Yep.
And then Gen Z, 1997 to 2012.
Right. And this panel that was watching this movie was Gen Z. So it's the youngest of this whole bunch.
So like the age of my children. Got it.
Right. And my kids are actually older than that. They're the
millennials.
They're the millennials. Yeah. I was just talking to them about it. I was like, okay, what is your group? And my son brought up a really good thing. They were in almost pre-technology, but in technology at the same time. And then we were like pre-technology. Like I remember when cell phones were this big in a car in a case.
Yep.
And then I remember, my exes playing Atari and all of those games, Atari and Nintendo. So we had Atari and Nintendo. And the very first one was, remember, like the ping pong, whatever.
Pong.
So if you're with us, tell us what generation.
What age group are you?
Yeah, what generation are you?
Are you like us and you're Gen X? Are you a millennial? Are you a baby boomer? Are you Gen Z?
Yes. So I'll just tell you, the movie I was watching was The Chosen. and they got this really cool, diverse group of Gen Zers. And I was just like, I thought for sure that they would think that's not so cool, but I was very happily surprised. So if you have Angel Studios app, or if you have it on your Fire Stick, there's a little documentary you can watch with their reactions to the show, which I thought was I loved how they just delved into their personal lives. And it's really sad. Gen Z, a lot of them come from a lot of broken homes, like, you know what I mean? I mean, it just really, I mean, not that we didn't need, I mean, it's probably started in our generation, maybe baby boomers, probably started there. Right. So it's kind of like, you can see how it's affected each generation as it goes, to them, it's they didn't really know what a family unit is. It's probably started in our era, don't you think? Like,
well, yeah. And I think that, yeah, that's a whole nother topic to get off into, but I think that, I think it started with us.
yes, Trina.
And then I think it's just kind of multiplied. I think it's,
Yeah.
and there's a billion reasons why we are where we are today. And
Right.
again, that's a whole nother show. But yeah, I think I think with me having two Gen Zs, I think just the perspective is very different.
Yeah.
And then my nieces are like millennials. So I think that there's a very different perspective and mindset compared to where we were to where they are.
Yeah. And that's when I said I have a misconception, and it isn't just because it's that movie that I'm talking about. I'm talking about probably my whole theory in my head of what they would be open to talk about and what they wouldn't be. Is I was wrong. I was thinking, oh, they're probably a little bit too. I'm not sure I can reach that grouping. Like, to talk to them about whatever, politics, whatever. You're not supposed to talk about politics and religion with people, but they're a lot more open than you think.
I think they're way more open than we were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just from my kids and the knowledge that they have about politics, I didn't know we needed that when I was their age.
We didn't really care.
No, and I can remember when Kevin was running, my mom was like, I must have been in my early 20s, I'm guessing, and she was like, "You're going to sit down, you're going to watch this because you need to know about, what's going on in the world. You're to the point, you're not a kid anymore." And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't want to watch this."
Right.
But now it's become something that I feel like, and I think they talk about it more in the schools, which I'm not sure I'm okay with that necessarily, the way that it's happening. But I think it's just way more out there than it was for us. The closest we got to politics was government class.
Yeah.
And now they know what their teachers, which side they're on, and that they discuss the topics in school. And I think it's just a whole different.
It is. It's a little different. It is a little different. I think it's more cultural, world based versus just, local based, right? I think they do think a little bit more out of their own sphere. And so my question, and I didn't prep you for this.
Great.
I didn't prep you for this, but and I'll think about it for a minute myself, is if you knew that you had them as an audience, what would you feel strongly that you would want to share?
Well, so for me, the question is, what's something I feel strongly about talking to my kids about, basically. Mm-hmm. I think that,
and that's for you guys too out there. Please put it in the comments.
Yeah, I think that number one, I would stress, they're not supposed to know it all. They're not supposed to have it all figured out. And that not to put so much pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think the society does that for them. sports, academics, all of it. I mean, back in our day, the maximum was a 4.0. Now you've got people graduating with a 4.6 or 4.8 or whatever. Like, how do you even do that? Like,
extra work.
Right. How's that even possible? But I think that there's so much stress on them. I think I would just start by just relax a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
I think that there's just so much pressure on them. And I think that they're constantly stressed out. They take too much thought into other people's thoughts, feelings, words. And I think that that's something we need to focus on with them so they understand what a lot of us are figuring out at 40 plus. I'm hoping they figure it out. That must be Matt.
It is. Okay, Matt. Awesome wood things.
I think that that's something that I think they're figuring out earlier than we did, but still not early enough.
Right. I mean, as we get older, of course, because we are the ones getting older. So the baby boomers are kind of before us, right? And then it's our generation.
Yeah.
So like me already, last weekend, my grandbabies, running around here, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know why it's their third birthday, and it finally dawns on me I'm a grandma.
That took a while, Gigi.
Well, what I'm saying is it's like it finally took me like, oh my gosh, I'm a grandma. Like, what do I want to share with her? What do I want her to know?
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that I want her to remember me by? What is it what memories and what things, do I want to pass on? Because I can get rid of some of the things that I don't want to pass on, right? I want to get rid of those generational things that are not good. I don't want to pass those things on. But what good things do I want to pass on? What is it? As I look at him, like, she is distracted. She is totally distracted.
I'm telling him to log in so I get one more person.
She's trying to win tonight, people. She's trying to win. She's trying to boot me off of here. But anyway, what do you guys? I want to know what you guys have to say about it in the audience. What is it that you want to convey to the younger generation, the Gen Zs? They are having to understand life at a whole different perspective than us. Like, just think about COVID that just happened. I mean, that was something we never went through, but yet the baby boomers and before, what would the baby before the baby boomers be called?
I don't know. It wasn't even listed. So I don't know if there was
even. So they were depression babies. They were depression. They were the depression era. So honestly, the depression era people would have related to the Gen Zers better than us, if you think about it, because we're starting to have to back up where we're having, food supply issues, where, we were locked down and, so really that depression era people can more relate to the Gen Z than we can. I mean, it's kind of weird to think about, but it kind of is, because we are kind of making a little slope down, with jobs and just think in those eras from the 1880s to like 1920, they had a big influx of immigrants into the country from all different countries. So, I mean, they're kind of going through the same stuff, at a young age, and they're all young adults right now having to see this world view. I just think it's really interesting that they're having to do that.
See, I agree with Trina. I think Trina's comment is spot on. Jim and I talk about this all the time. They don't have any responsibility. And again, we talked about this earlier. I'm lumping everyone together, which I shouldn't, but a lot of them, they don't have responsibility for themselves. They don't have any work ethic, and they're too dependent on their parents. I agree with that 100%. I mean, a lot of them that I've hired, I've figured that out when they've worked for me. And it's just, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, why do you think they're not stepping in. I mean,
Because
I was surprised to see, like I said, when I watched this documentary today, where that generation, they are actually taking a responsibility for their lives and talking about how they feel about it and trying to. They talked about mental health a lot. Like that was the thing that kind of, we're watching The Chosen, but they were talking about like at least 4 of the 8 out of the panel said that they had mental health issues.
you want me to tell you why?
One of them said that he was diagnosed when he was 8 with mental health issues, you know. And then the other ones were having mental health issues because of things happened in high school or church, or, one was in a cult. I mean, there were lots of things that they reflected on, and I just thought that was really interesting that mental health was like number 1 talked about.
And I think a lot of that's social media. I think we all got bullied. We all did. I mean, same things, but it's so intensified by social media. We could, at least when we left school, we could get away from our bully, right?
Yeah.
Now you can't. You
That's
leave
true.
school, you go home, it's on Facebook, it's on Snapchat, it's on Instagram. What, you cannot get away from it. I also think that part of that is because we as parents were helicopter parents, that a lot of people were like, oh, not my kid, not my kid. So they never had any accountability because we always took care of it for them.
Yeah.
Now, my kids will tell you that's not the case with me. I'm the old school boot camp parent, good or bad, I don't know. But
right.
But I do see a lot of that. I saw a lot of that when my kids were in school, parents that are like, oh, I saw your kid, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, no, not my kid. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
Which back in our day, if somebody else in the neighborhood saw, or one of your parents' friends saw you acting up, they wouldn't go home and tell your parents. They would tell you right there. Hey, you get over here. Well, now you can't, because everybody's, offended.
Everybody's offended, right? Well, today, I don't know if you saw, but the Surgeon General just came out with that he doesn't think that kids under the age of 13 should have social media at all. He totally believes in that. And I agree with that totally.
Yeah, the only problem is there's no way of making that happen. Facebook has been 13 for years, and everyone signs their kid up with their account anyway. And
oh, look at that. Gen Z have it figured out. They're about financial independence, retire early. Total opposites of the millennial. Yeah. I mean, do they even teach finances anymore, as far as, you should save money and you should, is this the way we do? I took consumer math when I was in high school, so I felt like I had a leg up. I think about all the classes I took the 1 year of high school that impacted me probably the most for the rest of my life. And that was consumer math, typing, and persuasion and propaganda. So that was a good year of my classes. And if I think about it, because those 3 classes have carried me through, like those, and history. I love history. So anything that was history, but math doesn't change. Math is still the same, right?
Yeah.
25-year-olds, kids right now own rental properties.
I agree with what Matt's saying. Like my kids, I can't. Okay, so my daughter, for those that don't know, my daughter's 23 and her husband's 24, and they are so much farther along than I was at their age, and and prices are so much higher, and it's crazy. Like. Where we were when I first got married at that age, we were nowhere close to where they are.
Yes. Yeah. And it's true. we knew to save money. Like if we wanted to buy something, we saved money.
I didn't know that. I never had
that's
to.
right. You told me.
Yeah. I never had to.
Well, and honestly, I was on the cusp of that, where I had credit card parents too. But now, and he's right. There is a kid in my coaching class who is 12, who is coming up with, plans on how to make money and how to coach other people and it's amazing. You sit there and you go, what? Like,
do you call him Doogie Howser?
No, because there's so many more of them out there. You wouldn't believe it. Parents are bringing their kids into the different ways of marketing and how to create courses and just crazy. So it's almost like Gen Z picked up some good life advice between watching TikTok videos. Exactly. And then they brought us old Gen Xers in there to do the dances with them. That's what they did. Right, Heather?
Yep. Yep.
I tried once with you and Kelsey just one time.
Yeah. No, I run and hide because I see them. Their dad does it and they laugh at him, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do this, so you guys can sit around and laugh at me later.
Exactly. So, what do you guys think? I mean, what is it that like he's saying? Could we even give them advice? Like, would they even take our advice?
I think that when it comes to certain things, we should listen to them. Like the things you're talking about, like their corporate advice or whatever, their knowledge of money and all that. I think they could, but I still think that there's something to be said for age that we could teach them that they can't.
Yep. Kids today will never know the awesomeness. And that is true. Like, I have to say, we probably have better knowledge of pop culture. Like, we have better knowledge at the time of pop culture. They have this whole different, because there is so much music out there now and different genres. And I mean, we were pretty, specified in our genres, right? I mean, there wasn't like, so many different artists like there are now,
Yeah, but would any one of us that are Gen X, would any of us give up our childhood for what they have? I wouldn't. They have no idea what it's like to be able to leave in the morning on a Saturday and not come home until dark. Like, they just don't. Kick the can and flag tag. Like, they have no concept of what that was like. And I would never trade that for what.
And that's true. Now. And that's true. And the whole point of me is about our misconceptions of how we relate to one another, is that we need to, make sure that we're bridging the gap and not prejudging them and them not prejudging us. Right. I've had to say to some young people before, I'm like, when they kind of come at me at some theories or whatever, and I'm like, well, this theory has been around for about 2,000 years. And so I'm thinking that you didn't just all of a sudden get smarter than people 2,000 generations before you. Like, it's just crazy. My son begged me to buy crypto years ago. He'd be a millionaire if I allowed it. Oh, no, Matt. Oh,
well, darn it.
Ouch. Ouch. I know. I think about that with Tesla, Microsoft, Apple.
Well, and we also know that they don't know how to give a compliment, because remember the night we were out and they were telling us how good we looked and how cool we were for our age was always at the end of the compliment. Oh, thank you. I mean, for your age. Like, did they think that the nursing home let us out to go party for the night, or?
Well, but that's what I was telling you. It dawned on me last weekend. I was like, I'll take for my age at this point. Like, like,
you're really cool for your age.
You're okay for your age. Yeah. So, for our age, we're not so bad. Hey, Charles, thanks for joining.
The one girl who said my outfit was fly for my age. No, my outfit's just fly, girl.
For your age. Yeah. So hey, Charles, he's a baby boomer. He's a boomer. Yay, we've got them all on here. That's good. Well, so for your age.
Do we have a Gen Z on here?
Gen Z. You're Gen Z. Say hello.
Yeah, we
need Gen Z. Okay, she's a boomer. He's a boomer. Oh, Teresa, I always think that you're in my era. I bought Tesla and then it dropped. It's still low. I'm holding on to it. There you go.
Perfect.
I have $10 whole on it.
Well, and like we started doing it a minute ago, like linking other people together, so right. Like me saying, they all don't want to work. Well, that's not fair.
It's not fair.
Can't say
Exactly.
it all.
Exactly. Because there are some, do you know, remember we were talking about the drive-through 2 weeks ago? Remember I was telling you I like to be in a drive-through girl?
Yeah.
A girl quit her like professional job to go be a drive-through person. I saw that article after we talked about it because she made $30 an hour.
Where?
Where was it? At a drive-through.
I mean, for $30 an hour, I might do it, but
$30 an hour, and she quit her nursing, her like medical assistant job because they were paying more at, I forget which chain it is, Chick-fil-A or one of them.
Well,
okay, I'm just saying.
Welcome to Chick-fil-A. My pleasure.
Spicy or original? No, I'm not kidding. Right now, they are some places $30 an hour.
I mean, I would do it. I would do it.
That's crazy.
It would have to be $30 an hour, but
they're not. I mean, have a blessed day.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a blessed day.
Yeah,
isn't it nuts though? It's kind of like, so yeah, their paradigm is so different than ours. Like I worked at fast food because at the time that was the only job I could get, or the video store. So I did the whole 80s. I had the big hair with the fast food and the video store jobs.
Yep. I know.
I wish there were video stores again.
Yeah.
I miss Blockbuster already.
How about anyone's even watching videos anymore?
Well, that's true. Though it is easier. Can I just say, watching videos is easier. You pick the one you want, and then you pop it in the thing, and you watch it.
Yeah, but I don't have to leave the house now.
But now you have to like put on. I mean, I think it's too much. What do you guys think? Amazon. The reason I don't watch TV anymore is because it's too much. Like it's too much to pick. It's too much to. Yes, I can't do it. This ADHD brain doesn't work like that. It's like I look at all the categories and I go, I don't know. Whereas I used to, I could just walk down the aisle, comedy, romantic comedy. There it is.
I just go to Netflix and watch the top 10. And by the time I finish those, it changes and I watch the next top 10.
Okay. Hey, we're getting somewhere. Now there's the statistics. I'm just not watching it at all because it's too much. And you're watching just what they pick for you.
Well, the truth is I get the remote, I hand it to Jim and I say, you pick something. I just don't care.
Yeah.
That's how it works now.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing you're going to think I'm terrible. The only thing that I watch consistently probably on TV is The Bold and the Beautiful still.
Well, we don't out here in the boondocks. We don't get regular TV.
So Bold and the Beautiful
anymore.
I watch CBS. Used to be. I could swear they used to be an hour. No, Bold and the Beautiful always was a half an hour.
Always been half an hour.
Same characters.
Yep.
Sheila, Brooke, Ridge, Taylor.
Ridge and Brooke are still doing the back and forth.
Eric.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, they kicked him to the curb finally. Taylor and Brooke kicked him to the curb. They were tired of playing back and forth. Anyway.
Yes, they do have soap operas, Carla. They still have
them.
The Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, All My Children, and I think General Hospital are the only ones left.
Is that it?
I think so. I could be wrong, but I think so.
But remember then there were the nighttime ones. Dynasty and
I do miss those.
I know.
Which they've remade that. I mean, Dynasty's new. There's a new one, I think, on
what?
Yeah, they've started it over, like continuation.
Let's see. Netflix is the Wednesday
Addams channel.
Oh, okay. So what do you guys think though? What advice, or would you give them any advice? Any advice to the Gen Zers? How are you going to relate to them? What is it? And Trina, I thank you for sharing what you would say. Anybody else? What would you say to them if you don't have a Gen Zer in your house? Which I have mine are Gen X. No, mine are millennials.
We're Gen X.
Mine are millennials.
Yeah.
So mine are kind of in that middle range because they're in their 30s era where you don't really say much because they're trying to figure things out on their own. You know, when you're in your 30s, giving advice is kind of sketchy. Like you can't, you're on a, you tread a little bit of water there. Just going to say
think
that.
I did that anyway. I try not to give my advice unless I'm asked. For both of my kids, I've gotten to where I'm trying to do that more. Unless I see that they're about to really make a mistake, and then I might be like, well, I think maybe, you know. But for the most part, like with my oldest, like that's her and her husband's life. I don't really speak much of it unless I'm asked. And with Kelsey, I'm just trying to let her find her own way. I think that's because my mom told me everything I thought most of my life until she died. I thought I was one side of the spectrum for political. And I realized when she was gone, not in my ear, I was like, well, I'm not, wait a minute, I'm the other side. So I try to let my kids have their own opinions and their own thoughts. But if they ask me for advice, then obviously I would give it. But I think most of the time they don't take it, but then they come back and go, oh, we probably should have. But don't we all? I mean, weren't we all that way?
Well, that's right. And what I think, I mean, I personally think that people have to make mistakes like what I've talked about before. If you save people from making those mistakes or you net them, then they can't hit bottom and bounce back up. Yep. And so there's something to them gaining things on their own and learning the lessons that they need to learn. It's better to do it in, in first person instead of, by somebody else's experience. However, what is kind of sad is I feel like sometimes for some reason, if they've seen us make mistakes, they don't want to ask us for some wisdom. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's a hard because you're like, you want to tell them, hey, you're kind of going down the wrong road there. This is what I would be careful, so I have to be careful on what I say, and I'm talking about just to my children.
Right.
Funny is I can have a better conversation with somebody that's not my child about the same subject matter. Oh, yeah, and them actually listen to me, like, oh, that's a great idea, or, whatever. And I mean, that's just like, they say familiarity breeds contempt. That saying, familiarity breeds
something
contempt.
To my kids, and then you could tell them the exact same thing, and they'll go, well, that makes sense. I'm like, okay, I just said that, but sure, it makes more sense now that someone else told you.
Right.
As long as you hear it, I don't care who you
That's right. That's right. And that's why I think it's important that we keep those dialogues going. I think it's important that we do try to communicate and converse, because I am, today just kind of opened up my own eyes of, well, I can't lump them all together in one group. Everybody is unique. Every group is different. It doesn't matter if you're called, the Gen Z, I mean, we're all different. We all had a different life experience. And when you have a different life experience, you're going to have a different perspective. So we have to always be careful of that.
It goes back to the same thing. Just for another example, Christians, how vast is that, how one group acts, another group acts, like we're all the same umbrella, but there are very different thoughts and rules that go under that umbrella.
Yeah. See, that's how I feel, Carla. I feel like my kids go, well, I don't know anything. I'm like, yeah. Especially when your kids have kids, it's like you have to really tread water on that one. Like, and it's really hard for you not to go, well, I was a mother because I was kind of your mother.
Yeah, but sometimes that can backfire on you because they can say, and that's why I'm doing it different.
Well, and that's the truth, because I did the same thing with my mother.
Isn't that what we do, though? We take
it is what we do.
We get rid of the bad and we create something different, and then the next generation will do the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I feel like my kids are more in tune with my mom's generation than with mine, I kind of feel like they could relate more to her than to me. I don't know how to describe that, but it just makes sense. Hey, Amy, how are ya? Love your new hairdo, by the way.
Well, and you were talking about, kids having a net, and I know Caitlin has said multiple times, when I've said something about how I'm just so proud of her for where she's at, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, when you don't have a net, you figure it out quick. I never gave my kids a net because I've watched too many people my age that had a net that just continually fall back in it.
That's right.
I didn't have a net. I've never had a net. Therefore, you figure it out.
That's right. We have, you just have to figure things out on your own sometimes, but it is nice to have another source to listen to,
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's why it's so important that we continue to have these dialogues and these conversations with each different generation to kind of get their feedback. I loved that, the Chosen did that, and they did that generation specifically, but I would like to see the generation, I would have liked to have seen all of the different generations, them having what was each person, was it different or not different?
Right.
I mean, that would have been neat to see, but even though we're older doesn't mean we are wiser sometimes.
Well, no, because I think some people don't want to be wiser and they just stay. I mean, I know people who are exactly like they were in college. They haven't changed a bit.
Yeah, I'm always amazed. I've moved around a lot since high school, and I know you did too. And there's lots of military people here that were military kids or whatever and moved around. And then I know some kids that never moved at all, and they don't know what that's like. And I go back to my hometown sometimes, and those people still live in the same town. They still have the same friends, and they're still doing the same thing. And you're just like, whoa, that is crazy. The evolution didn't happen. It wasn't the same,
It's like a time warp, like you went backwards.
Yeah,
that's not because we did that this weekend when I was back home. We drove through like my childhood tour of where I grew up and spent my time and blah blah blah. And it's like everything's changed, but yet nothing's changed.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just blows your mind. Yeah. And not that one is better than the other. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, because actually I think for a long, long time after we moved away, I was homesick and I wanted to be there. I would have wanted to stay there and not ever move. Like
I'm still homesick. Every time I go back, I want to stay.
Yeah. I was like, God, what would my life have been like if, but you can't do the shoulds because the should-haves don't work. Okay. If you continue to do your life through the should-haves, then that's not good. But you can, I think that's where I like where the Gen Z is right now, is they know that they don't have a ceiling. Does that make sense? They are all like, whoa, we can create and do things that we never thought that we could do. Like we didn't know, we followed like a certain structure. Like in our generation, it was you go to school or and then college maybe, or you tech school, or you get a job and you get married.
Yeah, nobody told us that we could get a career and not have kids and do all these, like, that just wasn't an option for us.
So different, such a different mindset. So, I look at that and I go, it would have been nice. Like I have a more entrepreneur spirit than I ever even knew, but I just now know it. Like I wish I would have known it like the 12-year-old that is, doing courses and marketing already. That would have been awesome at 12 to think I could do that, and it really is, it's just opened up. Like I feel like we are created to be creative beings. Like we are supposed to be who we are and creative beings, and not just like, robots, machinery, and I feel like for survival's sake from the Depression age, they had to, everybody jumped in and worked. That's when the women started working. Like women didn't really, they worked, like some of them owned shops and that kind of thing. And I know they did work before then, but as a collective, because of the war, most women went to work because they needed to, because the men were away. So that's what changed the dynamic, is the wars. And so I feel like then that kicked in. Like then that's what everybody needed to do. You either went to school or you worked,
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, this new generation has a whole different mindset. They are very creative in the way that they make money. They're not doing it the way that the traditional ways we did it,
Yep.
And I think that that's awesome. Working from home, having this technology to allow us to work from home and to do anything and to tap into any, country is amazing. I mean, it has opened up such a huge area. But at the same time, like you and I are reminiscing on how, hey, the good old times,
Right.
the good old times were simpler. Well, they were, but we still were in this like structured thinking. And I think now that they have an advantage, because it's not, everybody has their own path now. Like everybody doesn't have to follow that same cookie cutter path. What do you guys think about that? So, I mean, I am kind of amazed at it, and I am going to encourage conversations across the aisle, like across, the age gaps, because I mean, we can all learn from one another. We can't close off that, hey, just because we're older, we're wiser. Like a lot of people, oh, I'll let my, grandkid come over and program that thing for me. I'm gonna let them, they just come over and do it in 5 minutes, whereas I have to sit there and go,
Oh yeah, my kids are always laughing at me at my lack of knowledge of technology, but I had to remind them that before, without me, they would still be wearing diapers and drinking out of a bottle.
Exactly. Listen to Charles. Stay off my lawn.
Yeah, that was my stepdad was that guy.
Stay off my lawn. Okay, I want to know why you couldn't go on the lawn. That I never understood it.
Because they don't want you walking on the lawn smashing their grass down.
Smashing just like footprints in the grass? I mean, is that it?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just.
Is that why, Charles?
I was not allowed to play in the front yard because the grass would get messed up.
I mean,
you cause divots or holes, or I don't know.
Well, now the way that you have to, like, I remember men loved, well, they probably still do, men and women. Okay, let's just say everyone. Some people love doing lawn work, right? Mm-hmm. And for hours, they'll do it for hours. They'll do edge and they'll do all this stuff. Now I told you at that home show, they had the lawnmower that goes on its own, almost like the
it's like
the vacuum cleaner that does it on its own. You just put the disc thing, the little, it just mows the grass for you.
I mean, we have cars that drive themselves. Why can't we have lawnmowers and vacuums?
Walking on the grass kills the grass. See, not really. See, I knew it wasn't true. Gloria, that is why. Okay, don't step on the grass.
Yes, I lived in that house. I get
nice to see you, Gloria. Okay, I won. Gloria, she was the tipper.
Well, there's still people that aren't saying it. They're not saying anything, so we don't know they're here.
Oh, okay. So if you're on Heather's team side, you better say hello or she loses tonight.
Yeah,
but we didn't lose. We didn't lose. The Chiefs didn't lose.
Right, we didn't lose. We're going.
Sorry, Charles. Trampling flower beds, tearing up the grass, and just being a nuisance. But did they really do that?
I mean,
well, if they were playing football.
There's kids here that walk through our yard all the time. And one little boy the other day rode his bike through the yard. My dad would
see. Somebody did say hi for you, Lisa.
Hey, that's my cousin. Yay!
There you go. Hi, Lisa.
I think
One
that,
what? Just audience participation.
yeah, my
Nothing
people,
major.
her people, yeah, nothing too
Nothing too exciting.
Just
There's
pride.
no prize. No, I might make her buy me a drink when I come.
I won't be here.
You will be there when I come to town.
I'm going to be in St. Louis.
Okay, but I'm going to be there for 2 weeks.
Oh, you're going to be here for 2 weeks. Okay, I'll buy you a drink.
See?
I thought you were just coming that one weekend.
Yeah. No, we got to go to that organic place. That's where we got to go. What's it called? That I found healthy. What's it called?
Oh, the place over there. Yeah, we got to go there. They have the best salads.
Yes, they do. So
yeah,
we'll go there. You can buy me some water.
Oh, okay.
After we win a Super Bowl.
Oh, look, I have another one. There's
another one. Oh, who's that? Yeah. That's her sweetie. Yes, I told her earlier, I said, she's in that yucky stage where every day's Valentine's Day. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Ugh.
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 It's nauseating, I know.
Well, but there are some people that loved it. So
I know. That's what I was saying. There's people that aren't saying anything.
So anybody want to, we've got about 10 more minutes. So what would you say? What would you give any other generation? What advice? Anything? I asked somebody that not too long ago, and she came back and she thought about it. She came back to me. She goes, she was hilarious. She goes, I don't think I would tell them anything. I want them to figure it out on their own.
Oh, be nice, Matt.
What?
He said, bleh.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. Bleh.
I mean, I think on one hand, it's like, yeah, let's tell them all, let's tell them what we know. On the other hand, it's like, let them figure it out because that's part of life, right?
Well, and that comes back to, they're probably not going to listen anyway, because sometimes they think we're too, you guys are outdated. Like,
yeah, what do you know?
Your advice is outdated. My advice, dollar cost averaging. Okay. Well,
shop at
you
the
need
Dollar
to
Tree?
expound on that.
Shop at the Dollar Tree.
Buy stocks at Dollar Tree. Buy Dollar Tree. It's now $1.25, by the way. Anyway,
I know.
It's a $1.25 store.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, our world is so different that I mean, I'm not even sure I would tell younger generation to like invest in stocks or 401k or IRA or all those things like I would before, but because the bottom's fallen out and all of those things. But see, I don't know if I would even give them advice. I'd be like, go to a financial planner.
Here's the thing, and I know this from my son-in-law. They already know. They are investing, but they know better than we do what to invest in.
True. Compound interest.
No one, we didn't come out of college knowing about investing and buying stock and IRA. Like no one, at least I didn't.
No, I did because I took consumer math.
Yeah, I don't
see it all was what classes you took. I took ping pong too.
Well,
I that was a gym class I decided to take one time. Investing the same amount over time is the best return. When the stick is low, buy when it's high, buy. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go, Matt. Thank you for that's dollar cost averaging. He's telling us what that is.
Gotcha.
Get educated, save money, look after number one.
I think I would tell them to more people should be doing tech stuff than college. Not everyone college is not better than.
No. And that's what we were taught. Like we were taught that if you didn't go to college, that who knows what, you're headed down the wrong road,
Yep.
Pay yourself first. Yep. There you go. I'm telling you, even money's changed. Even what is our currency is possibly going to change, right? Like so it's all kind up in the air, Like, I
Yeah.
think I would tell people to buy gold and silver right now over investing in stocks, because gold and silver will go up. And gold and silver is good across the board. Just saying. That's just my 2 cents, you know. Um, let's see. Lisa says, tell them to research what is best for them. Exactly. Yep. That's it,
Because everyone's different, which goes back to our topic of not lumping everyone together,
Yeah. The misconceptions of lumping everyone together, because we all can add to each other. We all can help one another, and we're not all the same. We are not all in the same anything. It's so funny where I'm from. I'm from St. Louis. Let's see. I have gold and silver too. See, there you go. Gold and silver. Only value because the dollar is fine. Exactly. That's why I was saying right this second, it'd be better to do gold and silver. Peace out, ladies. All right. Bye, Teresa. So thanks for joining us, everyone. So I mean that's just it, I try to think of things that, a misconception of lumping people, like judging people. Just don't.
No.
Like a couple weeks ago you were talking about when the lady with the cell phone in the parking lot, how ridiculous that was.
Yep. And I think that we do it. I talked about this earlier. We kind of got off topic tonight, but just I would just say for everyone to be really cautious about judgment or lumping people together or saying, well, men this or women this, or because everyone's different. I was telling Sandy earlier, there was a lady on Facebook that a pastor was talking about the things that top 4 things women need or want from a man. And one of them was leadership. And she got all up in her uproar about, don't be speaking for me. I don't want a man to lead me. I can lead myself. Don't take me back to 1952. And I completely disagree with her. So we can't just say women want this or men want this, because it's very different.
Not everybody does. Yeah.
Every group is different.
That's right. And I like what Charles is saying here. Treat others as they want to be treated and find your spiritual side. I agree. Spiritual side helps to bring peace to things, I think that spiritual side really, helps you to blend it all together and have that balance. But, like we were talking about misconceptions of people, just don't judge them by their age, their, gender, we just have to do a better job of just loving each other and trying to understand one another and trying to stay, instead of prejudging somebody's perspective, make sure you listen. Listening is key. I try to do the listen before I speak thing. I try to, I can get excited sometimes when I'm talking about something and like over talk somebody. And I've had to work on that. I've had to pull back things like that. Cause I'm like so excited about, whatever we're talking about, but listening is just the total key. You have a different term for men and women during last show.
I did. Remember the penis on the vagina owner?
Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. Okay. Matt, you said you were going to behave.
Matt, don't get me started again. But yeah, and I think that even when you talk about the spiritual thing, even spiritual, religious, whatever title you want to put on it, however you want to separate the two, you still can't link everyone together. We have to do better at meeting people where they are, let go of the judgment, and just show them love and kindness. That's
right. Don't be a keyboard warrior.
Right.
And if there was an advice, that is the advice I would give the Gen Zs. Stop with being a keyboard warrior.
Yeah.
Think before you text. Don't let impulsivity get to you. If I were going to say advice, that would be to anyone and any generation is don't, I have to sit back. Sometimes I see texts come through and I want to respond and I go, hold on. I got to wait, because a couple weeks ago, like I had a conversation that went south, and I couldn't believe it. because it was just a simple question that started it. And it's like, how did this go south? I don't even know how it happened, but this person got really offended at something I said, but it's through text. So they didn't hear the intonation. They didn't hear, whatever it was I was trying to convey. And I didn't communicate it and convey it correctly, because then they got, heated. So I had to sit back. And the way that I came back to that was saying, you were misunderstanding me, what I'm trying to say. And then they were starting to like personally attack me. And I was like, and I feel like you're being unkind to me right now. And
the thing is, you don't even, you can very easily just say, this is taking a turn. I'm not going to participate, and be done. Like, stop responding. That's the thing. You can control nothing other than your response.
That's right. Yeah. Matt's trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Trying to be funny.
I agree with the add to cart.
Add to cart. No, bad. Exactly. When in doubt, add to cart. You know what? I do that a lot now. I am so proud of myself.
And then I go back and check it out.
Yeah. I do the Amazon. Look, I got things in the cart. I got things on the saved list. I don't have things in the cart. I have it in the save for later.
Yeah, I have 10 things on my cart right now.
Yep, you can control you. And that comes back to all of it. Like us coming back, listening before you speak, and not judging, and trying to keep peace through things. Don't lump everyone together. It just doesn't, it never works. And try to understand. Just try. That I learn a lot by listening, and especially if I'm on a subject matter that I think I know something about, and then I hear somebody else's perspective, I like to hear more, because maybe they can change my mind and I can lean into their perspective. You never know. Don't be so prideful that you won't do that.
Yep.
You don't know everything. And that's just kind of where we need to come from. There are things we've learned, but there are things that are being unlearned, and there are things that are changing so quickly that we can't even keep up with what we learned enough to pass it on. I mean, it's the truth.
And if you want to have a whole new perspective on a lot of different topics, you should listen to my podcast, The Motivational Mentor, on Spotify. Every Friday, a new episode will drop.
And you can go back and watch my YouTube channel on Sash Coach.
There you go.
There you go. Sandy Archer Spiritual Health and Awakenings Within. I have a lot of videos out there. It would be really nice if our audience would go and like our YouTube channels. Sash Coach, I have that one out there. Awakenings Within. And then we have Chick Chat KC. Chick Chat, and then her Motivational Mentor.
The Motivational Mentor, there's nothing on there yet, but it's there. You can still like it for when I do something with it, but it's coming.
I have a podcast that only just made $2. 237 clicks, and I only made $2. So just saying.
Well, it's not about the money.
It's the wrong platform.
Yeah.
I went on the wrong platform for my podcast. So learn something from that. Don't use Anchor. It's only 1 cent per play.
Yeah.
So just saying, I mean, those are the types of things that, you have to learn the hard way sometimes, So let's see. Good advice. Let's see. Matt's given thumbs up. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us that joined us tonight. We are going to sign off in a second, but we hope that you think about that. And if you think of things that you want to put on there later, please hit #replay and put your comments in. We really do like to hear your comments. $2.
I think we should get Matt on as a guest at some point.
Oh, Matt will come on, won't you, Matt?
He might get me in trouble, but we're going to try.
He'll come on. Oh, yeah. He's got the best setup, right?
Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa, thank you for joining us. Nora, Teresa, Trina, Charles, everybody. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And if you could like and share, we would appreciate it. And we will see you same bat time, same bat place.
Time to go eat tacos.
Oh, I know. I want some tacos tonight. How about you?
We're going to eat tacos right now.
Okay, I need to too. All right, everybody. Y'all take care. Peace out. Peace.